Welcome, wonderful friends, to the Sunday rune and card readings. Thank you so much for joining me. A very powerful week we have had with the super full moon in Capricorn. I am actually recording these readings at the exact time of the full moon. She is barely moved into Capricorn, and the energy is very powerful in terms of manifestation. And so the readings today are going to be guided very specifically by three stages of the manifestation process. Came through very clearly this afternoon in my meditations. I actually am in the middle of doing all of the huge 3 monthly readings for every sign that spans, see if I can bring an image up here actually for you. These readings, they span from July to September, and we draw cards for literally for July, for August, for September, and we also draw additional cards for destiny, what your karmic position is on your pathway at the moment, also for relationship. But keep a lookout for those, because I will be getting the overviews and the information about those readings uploaded very soon. So if you are wanting to get notification of them, do make sure you are subscribed and you press the little bell icon as well. That way you should get notification. I will also send out an email, so if you're on any of my email lists, I will also let you know as soon as those readings are uploaded and available. If you are new to this amazing YouTube community that we have here, I post weekly readings for guidance, and I do very big 3 monthly readings as well, with overviews on YouTube, and the actual main readings are on Vimeo, and they'll also be available on my website as well now. And I also give away a free private reading every month and a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. These are going to be focused on in a big way in our readings today. So yes, if you check out the timestamps, the Facebook link if you want to have daily postings about moon times, and if you want to join the email list whereby it's a subscriber email list, it's a subscriber offer, and you want to be in the draw, join that list. And as I said, I'll notify you if there's any of the big when the big readings go up. So enough said. Let us tune into the additional guidance, because this is an incredibly powerful moon. Now, a Capricorn moon naturally invites us to take pragmatic action, to overcome difficulties, to overcome procrastination, to create a shift at the time of the full moon whereby we can kind of almost become quite an active participant in the process of manifestation. It's why we're going to be using these cards significantly, as well as other tarot and oracle cards in these readings. Now, we'll be also drawing on the guidance of 3 crystals that have a really helpful influence in the process of manifestation. So reading number 1 is really connected to, it's like the initial stages, when you want to launch an idea or sow a seed or get going or find the courage to take that leap and take a risk. We're going to be influenced in reading number 1 by the energy of aquacalcite. Aquacalcite, it opens our crown chakra and also the third eye chakra, which means that we can really open ourselves to receiving the guidance and the support we need to initiate and open pathways with our spirit guides and initiate the sort of the first steps in a process of manifestation. It's an amazing crystal to sit with actually around the full and new moons if we're seeking support and guidance. So really appropriate to bring this crystal into one of our readings today in alignment with the full moon. The interesting thing about this crystal is it also frees us from the limitations of any inappropriate beliefs and attitudes. It basically gives us the courage and the guidance to begin, literally to take that leap of faith, to take a risk, to start moving towards something that we really want to manifest. So very powerful energy in reading number 1. Now, reading number 2 is very much about what I will call the consistency that we need to persevere, to overcome procrastination, to continue to nurture our ideas into form, our manifestations into form. And I've chosen Tiger Eye to support us in reading number 2. Now, this is a stone of protection, so it tends to help to keep negativity at bay. So if we kind of, I don't know, dwindle into those realms of the mind of disbelief where we struggle to keep going, it's absolutely marvellous. It's said to bring good luck to the wearer. It really does enhance strong willpower, and it's known to bring increased motivation. Again, it helps with procrastination. It gives us continuity and commitment and the kind of inner strength that keeps us on track. So really, really amazing in terms of having a strength of conviction and of your beliefs and of your commitment to persevere. So that's the energy and the stage of manifestation that reading number 2 is going to be speaking to us about. Now, in reading number 3, we have a piece of carnelian. Reading number 3 is going to be, in terms of the stages of manifestation, it's going to be that kind of stage where you need to push through to the finish line. When you need the resilience, the trust, the belief, the kind of motivation and the creativity to be able to be responsive to whatever is needed to get you through to that final "da-da, we made it" kind of moment. So strength, durability, seeing us through to the finish line. This also really helps if we have a debilitating kind of inner critic. It helps, that will kind of inhibit our perseverance. Very dynamic crystal, very lovely energy. I always sort of feel it's like this does what it says on the tin. So reading number 3 is about pushing through to the finish line. If you have a project or an aspect of manifestation that you've been working on for a while, and yet somehow you haven't quite been able to push it through to that finish line, literally to that point where the seeds that you've sown, we could look at another analogy of sowing those seeds, nurturing, persevering, commitment to nurture, commitment to protection, commitment to the ongoing work that's needed. But this is kind of the seed or the flower is about to burst into bloom. The seeds are just about to emerge, and we're going to see the results, but we're faltering a little bit maybe on our pathway of manifestation. This is where reading number 3 is going to be guiding us. So wonderful, wonderful energy here. Lovely amount of sunlight coming in as well. This particular room where I'm recording today looks out to the west, so the sun is actually quite low in the sky. We're getting a lot of sunlight coming in. The sun will be setting, well, to be fair, we're around the longest day here in the northern hemisphere, so it won't be setting for a little while, but nevertheless we are in that lovely space of the full moon, where the moon and the sun sit directly opposite one another, and the moon is very close to the earth, hence the super full moon. So powerful energy in terms of manifestation. So we're going to now draw the cards. These beautiful selenite sticks here as well. Selenite literally gets its name from Selene, the goddess of the moon. These sticks really do capture light, and it's quite extraordinary. These will be actually sitting out overnight in my garden, and they will be, along with various other crystals, to really recharge in the energy of the full moon. Selenite is amazing because it's a bit like a battery charger. If you put your selenite sticks out under the full moon, they will not only recharge, but they will retain the energy needed to recharge other crystals as you journey through the month. So we're going to draw from the Art of Manifestation cards, and we're actually going to draw 4 cards for each reading. Very unusual. We normally just use, 1 or 2 of these, but we'll have 4 for each reading. We are also going to draw from the Akashic Tarot. Now, the Akashic Tarot, I think, will hopefully give us information if there's any kind of kind of karmic issues in your process of manifestation. I also found myself thinking in my earlier preparations to almost invite you to focus in the energy of these readings, which will carry through the energy of the full moon today. Focus on one aspect, one specific something that you are in the process, either that you wish to manifest, or that you are needing to move along, or that you're needing to complete and bring forth. If you have several, most people have several areas of manifestation going on at different stages of development, almost at all times in their lives. So it may be that each of these readings will apply to some aspect of your world, but nevertheless, you might want to find yourself focusing on the actuality of something that you're manifesting at one stage or another of that process of manifestation. So this will help us, the Akashic Tarot will help us to see if there are any karmic influences in play. And there will be one card for each. We are then going to request some angel guidance. We'll be using some angel oracle cards here. Again, one from each. That literally was leaping out there. Very beautiful energy coming off these. And then we're also going to tune into a tarot pack. I think we will use, we will use this lovely, lovely pack, the Light Seers Tarot. And we will bring in 2 from this pack. I think that will be enough for our cards. Actually, no, we're going to draw another. Actually, this is a pack that's relatively new to me, but I am loving working with them. This is a Native American pack we're drawing really on the medicine of different animal totems, and so really, really powerful cards. I actually, they're relatively new to me. Whenever I get a new pack of cards, I work with them myself on a daily basis over, a significant period of time, not just to align my own energy with them, but to really come to understand. I think when we work with cards individually, maybe you just take one card a day from a new pack, you really get to know the cards and you get to know how they speak through you, because you just develop an amazing relationship with them. So we are actually going to draw from these as well. Just one. Lovely energy coming from these. Okay, so we are now going to draw, it's going to be one rune for each reading. Lovely. Okay, so wonderful friends, I am going to pause the video. I'm going to reorganize the cards so that I can take a photograph to put up for the thumbnail for YouTube. This is the time when you may want to just pause the video. You may already know which reading or readings are speaking to you, but if needs be, just pause the video, sit and just listen to the energy of each. And as I said, if there's something in your world that you are either wanting to manifest or you are in the process of manifesting, at whatever stage you are at, allow yourself to be guided to whichever reading is going to speak to you about that aspect of your manifestation process. And if there are several areas of your life that you are wanting to manifest change into, or to bring something into, or move something forwards, or fundamentally, bring into form, actualize, then you may even want to, if there's several areas, focus on one, then go away, take a dance break or chill out or do whatever, and then come back to the readings again, bookmark the page or something, come back to the readings again, and then focus on a different aspect of manifestation and see what guidance comes through to you at that moment. Wonderful friends, I will see you in the readings. So much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1 with this beautiful energy of aqua calcite, giving us the courage to begin, tuning us into our higher guidance, divine guidance, seeking support. This is interesting. We have the rune of movement. The rune of movement is the bettering of any situation. It's the gathering of momentum in many ways. So let's have a look and see what our cards are showing us. So, right, we have internal dialogue, self-care, the bigger picture and outcome. Okay, followed by the scribe, clairvoyance, Archangel Raziel. This is interesting. We have 8 of Swords in reverse. We then have 6 of Wands. Okay, and we have a blank card. So from the totem animal cards, you have a blank card. Now this is really fascinating because the blank card, in a way, and we are of course still in the moon cycle of storyteller, the clan mother moon of storyteller, where we are offered an opportunity actually throughout the month to peel back the layers, look at things that are in the way of us rewriting our story, and this feels like a confirmation here. So in terms of the courage to begin, I really want to say, I'm going to move this rune down here and I'm going to place the aqua calcite here. You're being shown here that almost, I want to say, I feel like you're being given permission to go for it. In fact, let's put this here. This is where I'm just going to realign the cards. Sometimes this happens. I'll be in a reading and I'll think that doesn't fit, the positioning doesn't feel quite right, and sometimes there's a need to move some energy. I don't feel I need to move energy here. I just need to get things in the right position so that the storyline, interestingly enough, is really clearly being shown to us. This reading is saying, what do you want to create? What is holding you back? First of all, the card of internal dialogue. We all have an internal dialogue within our mind. It is literally a constant stream of inner conversation. Is your dialogue kind, supportive and affirming, or is it critical and judgmental of both yourself and others? This card asks you to listen to your inner words and, if necessary, take steps to consciously change your language. Now, the energy of aqua calcite, it really does align us. It opens our crown chakra and our third eye chakra. So we are aligning with higher guidance. It means we can kind of bypass, I want to call it the internal drivel of, I'll voice it from a personal perspective. I'm not suggesting that you all have an endless internal drivel in your mind, but I can honestly tell you that my mind can wander into that territory really quite easily, and I think it's true for a lot of us. Often my mind is not full of the stuff that I want to create. It's actually, quite honestly, it's full of the stuff I don't want to create, and I have to work quite hard at that. There's almost like an autopilot thinking pattern that can be set forth without my even realizing it. Actually, everything here is about movement forwards. You're being encouraged, invited, supported in initiating something here. And I really want to say following your dreams. So there's some aspect within you that tends to hold you back. That's what we're being shown here. But you really are, 8 of Swords in reverse, you're really ready to see it. In fact, I think in the same way that I have just taken an ownership of my own, the internal workings of my own mind when it kind of runs off and does its own thing, definitely without my permission, but it does it. It's that kind of stuff. This reading is saying to you, You kind of know what that's about. You know where you hold yourself back. It's time to free yourself from this. Not only is there a need to look at that internal dialogue, but also to be compassionate and caring with yourself. I mean, the danger of having a really big inner critic is that when we catch ourselves, you know, going down that road, it's kind of like, I did it again. And we can start sort of criticising ourselves for criticising ourselves, if you know what I mean. And it's really, really important to move away from that pattern too. To be compassionate, to be kind, to recognise that it takes time to overcome these things, and we can slide back into those patterns easily. It's just a part of being a normal, everyday, wonderfully, extraordinarily unique human being, because that's how we are. We're just full of these things. Learning to laugh at ourselves when we catch ourselves out is a wondrous thing to do. You are being asked to really, really prioritise your own self-care. Look after yourself. This may feel selfish to you, but in truth, when you attend to your own needs with love and care, you create an inner wealth that radiates into the world, impacting positively on all you come into contact with. There's a really clear message coming through here, okay? And it's to do with a very specific avenue of thinking, whereby there's an aspect of self-sabotage going on. I think there's something that you really, really want to do. It means that you would need to learn something. Go and do a course. The scribe here, the Akashic record card here, the scribe speaks of the kind of like learning, the kind of pathway that we can take. It's basically saying you're moving into a space of accelerated learning. And this is the stuff that could change your life. It's also the stuff that could change the world. It's like following your dreams, following that pathway. The energy is with you for that to gather momentum. It's kind of like you've seen a course or a pathway, or you want to write a book, and the idea is sitting there, it's been jiggling away at you, it pops up in your dreams, but you never quite take the step, because it feels as though you'd be prioritising your dreams over and above perhaps, you know, the normal everyday stuff of life that where you look after everyone else. It's time to prioritise your own dreams. Clairvoyance, Archangel Raziel, I am helping your spiritual sight to awaken fully, so you can clearly see heavenly love. Ooh. Someone, sorry about that, but yeah, message flying in there, literally. That was really interesting. The message that's come in, I feel like it almost knocked me over. You have received in the past criticism that told you not to believe in your dreams. It's kind of like if you had a dream, it was like, don't be so stupid. You know, like the words carried power. I felt like as that message came in, I felt like I'd been knocked over by the language that has been directed at you at different times. And it stopped you in your tracks, and it stopped you from believing that you can have those things that you desire. There's something you would really like to do. Some seed of manifestation that you really, really want to sow. But every time you thought about it, it's almost like, I don't know, for some of you, maybe even in education, maybe you wanted to go to university, but nobody in your family had. And so it was kind of like, no, you can't, we don't do that. Or you just need to get a job. Or maybe you wanted to do a course and you were told that'll never lead to your earning a living, you know, the course of your dreams. It was like, no, go and do this course because it'll be more practical or more likely to give you a good outcome. Something has influenced you. This is the time for you to listen to yourself. Put down the internal dialogue that relates to the stuff that stopped you in your tracks and knocked you for six and put you down. It's time to put that down. You know what I'm talking about. Eight of Swords in reverse. Not only do I think you know what I'm talking about, but I think you know exactly where it came from. You are asked now to step back and see the bigger picture. In other words, don't wobble. And also keep your options open. I feel like there's divine guidance around you at the moment in terms of moving forwards to a pathway that will offer you much greater choice and much greater opportunity to find the true pathway that is right for you. Some of you might have been struggling to feel that you can work out what your calling is or what your purpose is. And there is a lot of support around you to discover that. So the bigger picture. Sometimes, particularly during times of accelerated growth, we feel confused and overwhelmed, unable to see the woods for the trees. This card asks you to stand back and see the bigger picture. Everything is happening just as it should, and you will soon regain clarity. So put down the stuff that said you can't, you shouldn't, and lean into a space of possibility and allow yourself to start not only to think about sowing seeds, but to dream. Be prepared to step into the limelight. 6 of Wands. This is a card of success. And again, outcome. This card asks you, this is a really interesting card in this position. This card asks you not to be too attached to a specific outcome. In any new situation, the possibilities are open-ended. Anything might happen. Try not to prescribe a fixed outcome within your mind. We're having space here, as this may limit your availability to access the infinite scope of possibilities sent to guide you in the best possible direction. With the rune of movement, gathering momentum, the bettering of any situation, what I'm seeing is a shifting away from the messages that stopped you in your tracks and stopped you from believing in yourself. Stepping into a space of self-care and self-belief. You know where this stuff came from. So put it in the past where it belongs. Don't wobble. If you're not sure what step to take, or if you think there are lots of choices and you don't know which way to go, you just know you want to change something, you know you want to manifest something, you want the courage to begin, and you need to know what are the first steps that will allow me to see that journey unfold. Allow yourself to receive. You're going to be in the spotlight. Things are going to progress, move forwards, gather momentum, and you are going to discover, I feel as though your calling is going to be shown to you. But the main thing here is to remove the blocks that came in from somebody. What you're wanting to do is align yourself with the higher guidance that's available to you and find the courage to begin. Go and start doing some research, see what resonates with you. Now for others, you do already know something that you want to manifest. There's a dream, but you're not actually sure. Again, it's like you might be dreaming of writing a book. You want to be a writer, but you're not quite sure which of your many ideas to focus on first. There's definitely something about not being fixed to the outcome here. So again, you might know that you wish to be a writer, or you might know that you wish to be a healer, but you're not sure what modality you're going to move into, or what the actual storyline will be. Trust. Open yourself to receive guidance and allow the journey to unfold. It's kind of like rewriting your story, but giving yourself room and flexibility to write organically and creatively. So I always feel with these blank cards in this pack, there's literally, it's like a question, what would you like? What feels good? Let's work together, let's co-create. Again, it's kind of like if you're building something, or you're designing something, or you're writing something. Even if you have an idea of the journey of what you want to unfold, certainly my experience of writing is it never quite works out exactly as I thought it would. But hopefully, what emerges is what needs to. Even if I've got an idea and I know I'm going to write about something, by the time it emerges, it basically finds a life of its own, and you become the vessel for that to channel through you. That's that aspect of living in a way that where you are the channel for divine guidance. You are the channel of manifestation for something that is really important and valuable. In many ways, that's what our calling is all about. Wonderful friends, this feels like a real permission to believe, permission to start, permission to dream, permission to open yourself to receive guidance, permission to take those steps, really freeing you from the limitations of inappropriate beliefs and attitudes. You know where they've come from. You're seeing that clearly. It's time to ditch those. I almost want to say, spread your wings and fly. Wonderful friends, this feels very magical, and the energy of the super full moon in Capricorn is really, I feel like it's behind you in terms of getting going in this initial stage and process of manifestation. So much permission being brought to you and offered to you. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Do watch out for those huge 3 monthly readings, because I mean, I'm in the middle of doing them. They are just massive in terms of the energy shifting over the next 3 months as we're kind of moving from solstice to equinox. Absolutely extraordinary shifts of energy, evolutionary pathways unfolding, really mind-blowing stuff. So do watch out for those, and I will be posting the overviews and, as I said, emailing out about them. If you're on my email lists, you'll get a notification. That should be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the absolute latest. I hope that they will all be done and ready and available. So wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2, which is really connected to the aspect of manifestation when we are in the throes of manifesting. We are in that process, what I would call the middle ground, where we need continuity, commitment. And we have the wonderful tiger eye energy bringing luck and enhancing strong willpower and motivation. Let's have a look at our rune. So, okay, our rune is the rune of the self. Now that is interesting because the rune of the self actually asks us to live an ordinary life in a non-ordinary way. It also asks us to recognize that we ourselves are the source of any change in our lives. There's a sense of self-responsibility here. Let's see what our cards are showing. Okay, so we have take time out. We have independence, the card of independence, the cycles of the moon, and which direction. So this feels as though there is a potential evaluation going on, possibly a turning point in some way in terms of how you are managing a project. What is really interesting is we have the card of the muse, we have clairaudience, 9 of Pentacles in reverse. This is really interesting. We have the Empress, and then we have the energy of alligator. Oh, this is lovely. This is just beautiful. And I'm going to bring this rune down here and the tiger eye down here as well. It creates a lovely flow of energy through. So what I hear is, in this reading, in terms of a stage of manifestation, I want to say that you're faltering in some way, or you're concerned that it's not moving forwards as it should. Actually, that there's a real key here. There's some very significant guidance. Alligator energy, alligator medicine is really interesting, because alligators, I think, have a sense of timing. When they make a kill, they take their prey down and, I don't know, wedge it under a rock under the water. Basically, it kind of, they tenderize it before they eat it. It's like the timing is there. You know, an alligator, when it's in the water, you know, its eyes, you can barely see it. In fact, you know, they are huge creatures, and yet they can take people or their prey by surprise. So there's something about timing and their capacity to evaluate. They don't just plough in. There's an evaluation of a situation. Really interesting. You're being asked to kind of acknowledge and validate where you are, ground yourself, take time out, give yourself permission to stop. It's like you've been persevering. Now, bearing in mind, astrologically, we are only just coming out of a Mercury retrograde period. When Mercury is in retrograde, loads of things slow down, go wrong, stop working, roadworks everywhere. It tends to get a bit chaotic, and it's really helpful just to know and understand that. Now, we're now in the Mercury retrograde shadow, so that energy is going to lift. However, there's a massive amount of review and a little bit of tension astrologically over the next few months, because Saturn, Pluto, Neptune and Jupiter are all in retrograde, which means there's a little bit of tension between the old and the new. There's a little bit of tension in this in-between space. So in terms of manifestation, and however that is for each of you in your own unique ways, you are being asked to stop and slow down, not to just push ahead. There's reviewing required here. So give yourself permission to stop. Sometimes we just need to slow down and rest up. And yet so often we keep on pushing and pushing, even though there are clear signs that we should stop. Taking time out now will allow you to replenish your energy and return revitalized and with an abundance of focused energy, which is really interesting because this card is sitting above the Akashic Tarot card of the Muse. The Muse is again about resourcefulness and resources coming to you. It says that, you know, actually there is an exceptional amount of energy that will come into any project or any venture that you are manifesting at this time, but you kind of have to slow down enough to receive it. If you're too focused on a particular path, then in a way it's like the alligator going ahead too quickly and not taking its time. That there's definitely something about timing here. The cycles of the moon likewise. Now, let's just tune into the cycles of the moon. This card invites you to attune yourself with the rhythms of the moon. Notice how the phases of the moon affect your energy and learn to use these energetic shifts within you to enhance your capacity to be consciously co-creative in all aspects of your life. Now, if you notice where the moon is, we don't actually have to know our natal chart, our astrological birth chart, to do this. If you can become aware of where the moon is in the phase of the moon and in the sign of the moon, you'll get to know within a couple of months, quite quickly really, a couple of moon phases, how that affects you personally. You'll find that sometimes when the moon is in one particular sign, you feel you know, a little bit more fired up, sometimes quite irritated, sometimes fully motivated, sometimes quite tired. So we don't even need to know. You could look your chart up and see how that is affecting you in terms of the planetary alignments for you. But all you need to know is where the moon is, and to know that that affects you in that way, and then begin to adapt your calendar and your manifestations accordingly. It's one of the reasons I'm posting daily on our Facebook page now. So literally, you know, if you tune into that Facebook page, you will see, you know, daily positionings of the moon. If she is in between two different signs, if she hasn't reached one sign and there's what we call a void of course period, when she's not channeling her energy through a particular sign and there's a space in between, you'll get to know how that affects you as well. Very, very helpful in manifestation. So yeah, the link is in the information box below, and also in the along with the timings in the comments too. There's something of a direction you're evaluating and you're needing to evaluate, and it's appropriate for you to do so. It doesn't mean that whatever you're manifesting, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be manifesting it, nor does it mean that it's not going to emerge. Some of you have lost faith in that, or you're feeling like it's never going to happen. So, but actually there is a turning point here. You have reached a turning point in your life. Do not be afraid of taking the wrong path. When you recognise the learning to be found at every step and in every moment of your journey, you will realise there is no wrong way, only the infinite gain of your personal growth and evolution. Again, alligator energy. It really, really asks us to honour our progress and recognises that everything that happens is an opportunity. Again, the rune of the self, recognising that change starts within us. So there's something you're evaluating here. Take time out. Don't try to just push forwards sort of in a blinkered way. And also, you're needing to reach out and get some help here. Independence is a wonderful attribute, but if taken to an extreme, it can border on isolation. Sometimes if we've been hurt or let down or trapped in a codependent relationship, we lose faith in others and we learn only to rely on ourselves. This card calls you to question this inner belief and to develop healthy, interdependent relationships with an equality of both giving and receiving. So you're being asked to move beyond an anxiety that might be holding you back, or indeed the overload of energy that's holding you back, because you can burn out if you're trying to do everything yourself. There is energy available to you. There really, really is. Clairaudience, Archangel Zadkiel. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. We're going to do some energy shifting here, because whatever you are manifesting, you're being asked to recognize that it's still in a space of gestation. We have the wonderful card of the Empress, a card of pregnancy. It is still in a space of gestation. It still needs to be nurtured. There's some tweaking to do. You could take more than one path. Don't worry about taking the wrong one. The timing is going to be perfect. What matters is the energy is with you to move forwards, but you don't need to move forwards in a blinkered way. Take time out and stop, and then take the next steps and nurture your idea into being. We need to lose this space of disbelief. I'd really like you to honour your progress. The Nine of Pentacles is a card that really says, wow, you got here because you did it. It's like it's this validation. No one else needs to tell you how amazing you are, because you know that you did it. You worked your socks off. You got yourself to here. Wow, you deserve to be here and you deserve the results. But it's not quite yet the time for them to emerge. It's like a pregnancy. We can't make it happen any quicker. You know, once a baby is conceived, it needs time to grow. And this is what is actually being shown in this reading. Now, what we are going to do is do some energy shifting here, where we reverse the Nine of Pentacles from its reverse position and we put it into an upright space. So we are shifting that self-doubt. Okay. Now I'm going to call upon some angels to do this. So really, really interesting. First of all, I'm going to bring in a tiger eye angel. So forgive me if I lean across the camera. I shall need to reach across to the shelf in front of me that has angels on it. I'm going to bring in white quartz as well. Tiger eye, because I want to reinforce the energy of protection, the energy of increasing and enhancing strong willpower and increased motivation. And I want that inner strength and courage to keep you focused. So I'm going to bring in a tiger eye angel. I'm going to bring in white quartz because it really, it just brings in positivity. Negativity bounces off it. So I'm going to bring in white quartz as well. I'm also going to bring in honey calcite because I want you to step up into a position of your own leadership. Okay, so I'm going to bring in two small angels, actually, little talisman angels. So excuse me while I lean across. Oops, forgive me being in the camera there. There we go. Right, so little talisman angels. First of all, let's bring in the lovely energy of the tiger eye. Beautiful protection, bringing good luck, bringing good fortune. Absolutely super lovely energy. And white quartz. Beautiful. Oh, do you know, I can feel that. I can feel the line of the energy flowing through into my solar plexus. It's kind of like permission to stop, permission to evaluate, permission not to be afraid that the next step you take might be the wrong one. Just trust there is no wrong step, and whatever it is that you are personally manifesting is going to come to fruition. Immerse yourself in the ordinariness of everyday living and trust that the way will be shown. You are in a space of gestation. So we've brought in these wonderful, wonderful angels. I am now actually going to turn this into an upright position. Whew, I can feel my solar plexus breathing a sigh of relief. It's like, woo, fabulous. Celebrate where you are right now. Celebrate your journey and everything that has led you to now. And even if there have been some difficulties and struggles, trust. It's the Mercury kind of retrograde energy that we've been in as well. Trust that if there is a diversion and something wasn't running smoothly, it was actually because you needed to course correct or see something else that would help and aid you on your journey. Something needed to be brought to your attention in order to reach its fullest position of fruition, to know where to go next. So moving this here, celebrate yourself. Take up that position with the honey calcite of your own leadership. Dare to be amazing. The universe is backing this. Whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, the universe has your back. The muse speaks of resourcefulness and the receivership of exceptional amounts of energy to lift your project to the skies. Everything is ready for you to move forwards. I think you got tired. You've invested so much that you've got to the point, you know, where you kind of almost have that temporary burnout and it's not happening and you lose sight and belief in it happening. Right, everything here is about moving it forwards. This is still needing more nurture. You need to trust, you need to believe, and you need to make that commitment to persevere and bring forth whatever it is you're manifesting, because it's going to come through when the time is right, and there's a lot of universal energy around you to bring this forth. There really, really is. So whatever you, just don't worry if you find yourself going in a slightly different direction. You're just going to gain something. There'll be something you needed to learn, an additional tool in your toolbox, or an additional skill, or an additional layer that needed to be peeled away. We're still in the cycle, the clan mother cycle of the storyteller woman, where, you know, the moon cycle, the sixth moon cycle rather, of the storyteller woman, she helps us to rewrite our story. And so sometimes we peel back the layers and we let go of stuff that has been holding us back. So commitment to moving forwards, whatever you are manifesting. Wonderful friends, I am truly sending you so much love and holding you in my prayers and holding your manifestations in my prayers. This is really a time to not go it alone, to move forwards, to trust that the journey will unfold, and actually you are going to reach a space of birthing this into the world. Celebrate how much energy you have invested so far and celebrate the amazingness of you, because you've come so far. Everything is about to be elevated. Clairaudience, notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. There is love and support around you. Archangel Zadkiel, beautiful card. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Yeah, so much empowerment in your manifestations. Nurture, commitment, perseverance. Everything will find the right timing here. So much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3 with the wonderful energy of carnelian helping us to see something through to the finish line. Wonderful. This is a lovely, lovely rune to have, given the nature of carnelian, because we have the rune of possessions, of nourishment. This speaks of unexpected rewards and gains. It speaks of ambitions fulfilled. So very appropriate when we're thinking about pushing through to the finish line. It also asks us to remain humble and to remember to share, to share our blessings, to share the abundance that comes our way. So very powerful energy for a reading that is about pushing through to the finishing line. Okay, so very fascinating. Let's have a look at our cards. We have, first of all, we have a card, you are safe now. It's safe to relax. We have a card of mistakes. Wow, you guys are shifting through stuff here. Let me put the carnelian here and the rune of nourishment. Right, you are shifting stuff. You're moving away from some massive degree of expectation. Something has been stopping you from getting to that final moment. Something has been stopping you. It's connected to history. Uriel and the Sphinx. You are being offered an opportunity here to release something. It's literally, there's a block. It's really, really worth thinking about what that block is. It is a historical block. Something has been almost like there's like an energetic roadblock that has been stopping you from pushing through to the finishing line. We have the card of peace, Uriel and the Sphinx, Archangel Chamuel, the card of peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. We have the Three of Cups, lovely, Queen of Swords, and then the Black Panther card. Wow, okay. This is huge in terms of you shifting something. It's almost like you're able to get to this sort of so close to the goal, so close to the finish line, and then something happens that blocks it or sabotages it. Okay, that's what I'm being shown. It's literally a hurdle right in front of me. That's what I'm seeing. It's like I'm coming up against a wall, and actually you're needing to not push through that wall, because that's just really, really hard work. We don't want to be doing battle with that wall. What we do want to do is to take it down brick by brick and move it, or indeed just walk round it. It does connect to history. Uriel and the Sphinx. It's really, really interesting because the Sphinx has been, covered in sand several times, and it's then been, it gets excavated by, the sand gets blown away, not only by sort of archaeologists, but it gets excavated by the wind and the weather. There's something about things being revealed to you here that allow you to actually sort of like dissolve the wall. That's what I'm actually being shown. It's not even taking it down brick by brick. It's dissolving it. It's just recognizing you just need to let go of it. Also, there's help around you with, talk to your friends about this stuff. There is help around you to help to remove these negative blocks. There are people around you, friends around you, who really, really want to support you in overcoming these difficulties. Definitely people around you. And that is going to give you the clarity of mind to be able to push through to the finish line. You also need the clarity of mind, because the Queen of Swords energy here, she can use her logic to hold her pathway. She can actually hold her vision. She can target her intentions, because she doesn't get knocked over by her emotions. She's able to hold a clear overview. So we're not in the realms of what I would call an egotistical mindset. Actually, she holds a really clear mindset that says, I understand where those feelings come from, those emotions. I'm not going to let them govern me. I understand where those negative habits come from. I'm not going to let them govern me. In a way, because of her clarity, she can move in and out of the shadows. She understands that aspect of herself. Black Panther speaks to us of the shadows and of the health of knowing our shadow. the strength that comes from knowing our shadow, rather than an avoidance of feelings and of the history and of where we've come from. The acknowledgement and the validation of that gives us the fullness and wholeness to move and walk into the light, to literally to create. Now, you guys have been through some really, really big stuff. That's what I've got to say. Okay, resilience, pushing through to the finish line. Carnelian not only gives us resilience, but it's said to restore vitality. It stimulates creativity, promotes positive life choices. It's a crystal of very vibrant energy, but also of real strength. It's said to bring courage and create a mindset that motivates success. So, messages coming through here. Some of you, all of you who have tuned into this reading have at some point had a really, really tough time and it's left its mark. Okay? That's really, really clear. That's across the board. That's everything. I'm seeing like almost cords that are attached to you all, and it connects to this area. You've lived on high alert for some reason or another. It is now time to turn the volume down and to relax. It's safe to relax. You are safe now. You have been through a major ordeal and you've been amazing. You've handled it all, but as a consequence, you've learned to live on high alert. This needs to change. Your mind needs peace and your body needs to relax and repair. This card brings a message. You are safe now. It is okay to relax. Now, for some of you, there's been something that's been quite recent. For others, indeed for some of you, you are actually needing to push through to the finish line. That was the message that was coming through. Across the board, all of you have experienced some form of trauma and it's left its mark. But for some of you, you're very close to that situation. You're only just coming through it. And for those of you that are in that position, carnelian, the energy of carnelian is really, really coming through and holding you. Archangel Chamuel, peace comes from remembering that only love is real. We are needing to move beyond the implications of the behaviour of others, even if it left you in a very traumatized state. Mistakes. If you feel you have made a mistake, or indeed someone else has done so with impact on you, please do not feel bad about this. Treasure and value your mistakes. I know that can be hard, but that's part of the shadow side of things. Treasure and value your mistakes and those of others around you. They are the cutting edge of your personal growth and evolution. Lean into the learning and celebrate your openness to grow. When we've been treated badly, sometimes one of the aftermath of that is that we feel that it's like we lose faith in our own ability to make choices, because we feel like, well, look, you know, if it was a relationship, for example, that was in any way challenging or abusive, it's like when we come out at the other end, we feel like, well, I made that choice. I'm rubbish at making choices. It's like we lose faith in our ability to make decisions. And then we're reticent to make choices, which actually then holds us back. We can never get to the finish line. Or if we've been treated badly, we can be, especially if you've lived with somebody or you've grown up around someone who was very narcissistic, it wouldn't have been safe for you to have an ownership of your own success. That's now blocking some of you. That's coming through really clearly. It's not safe to be successful around somebody really narcissistic, because they will need to sabotage it, or you'll be attacked, or there'll be really big problems around it. And so in a sense we move on and we learn not to allow ourselves to get to the finish line for fear of the consequences. That is happening to some of you. Okay, again, we can look back in history, but we need to remember that only love is real. People, even, do you know, I had a lovely message from somebody who spoke about a narcissistic connection, and she actually, really want to bless her for her insight. She said, I do realise that that person hasn't necessarily, you know, basically they've had a challenged history, which is why they are the way they are. You know, very, very lovely recognition that was helping her with her own learning and growth. So I really want you to be able to recognize that you're safe now. If you're coming through something, just shore up those boundaries. The shadow aspect of understanding our hurt is what really enables us to move through into a space of clarity in intention, clarity of direction, clarity and strength of action. Expectation. This card is interesting. Expectation is a form of memory. Our past experiences colour our expectations of future circumstances and outcomes. You are asked to release any form of negative expectations based on past experiences and centre yourself in the infinite possibility of now. Again, you know, it's really interesting, isn't it? If I was to, I don't know, if I walked to the post office to post a letter or a parcel and it was the one in a billion circumstance when somebody came in and to rob the post office, you know, and I go in, I'm in a really traumatic situation, it's really dangerous, I come out of it, I can guarantee that the next time I go to post a parcel, I will be overloaded with anxiety. Even though I know it was a 1 in a billion chance, it's never going to happen again, I'm just going to be so overloaded, I'm going to be expecting something to happen again. This is the impact of trauma. This is the impact of real challenge. Every single one of you, I'm really being shown this. Everyone who has been drawn to this reading has experienced trauma from an outside situation or from an outside another person, and it's left its mark. But you are now in a space where you're needing to move into a place where we can recognise that you did nothing wrong, you did not make a mistake, you were an innocent party to something that took place. Even if you were drawn into a relationship that was negative or challenging, or a situation, you were unaware of that. You need to not beat yourself up. It's really, really important to allow the past to inform you, not to govern you. Release negative habits, and this is really interesting because this is what happens when we've experienced challenge or difficulty. We tend to move into a safe zone and we tend to put up our barriers because we need to. So we all form habits and patterns in our lives, whether in thought or in action. But like a pair of comfortable old slippers, there comes a time when they outgrow their value to us and we must let them go. Do something different today that shakes you out of your usual ways of responding, and have fun doing so. Again, if you find yourself venturing into the territory of anxiety or going over something, or, you know, being concerned about the mistakes of yourself or others, or beating yourself up, it's time to shut that down, let go of it, have a laugh about it, do something different. It's time to move forwards. It's time to put history behind you, and Archangel Uriel is behind you in that healing space, and also healing through awareness and knowledge. Now you'll notice I'm moving the cards here. I'm going to do a little bit of energy clearing here. We enter the shadow. When we enter the shadow, so there's carnelian here, we have to have courage to look at ourselves. We have to have courage to look at this kind of stuff. So I'd like you to sit with the cards as they are first, just as the reading is. And we're going to be doing a little bit of energy shifting here. In many ways, your strength, your courage and resilience comes from being able to move beyond those past experiences, but to gain from them in your learning. You are safe now. Everything is actually, I'm being told you are safe now. Even if it's relatively recent, you are safe now. You don't have to live in the trauma. And you didn't make a mistake. I really need to repeat this because it's coming through and I'm hearing it loud and clear. It was not your fault. You are not to blame yourself, okay? You didn't know. You were unaware. You didn't know what you were walking into, or you didn't know. You just didn't know. It's not your fault. You did not make a deliberate mistake. You can learn from this. It must cease to inhibit your expectations or your belief in yourself in making choices. It's time to let go of these things, and it is also time to emerge from a safe zone. You can do so cautiously with awareness, Okay, so sit with this now. Sit with the energy here and absorb what this is feeling like in your body. I'm going to move these cards down. I'm going to create some space. Okay. I'm going to move the shadow energy of Black Panther here, because this is the shadow knowledge that comes with us. We've had the courage to come through something. We've experienced something really difficult. You've been through a major ordeal and you've been amazing. You handled it all, but as a consequence, you've learned to live on high alert. This needs to change. Your mind needs peace and your body needs to relax and repair. Black Panther energy means we know the shadows. We've been there, we've done that. We don't live in the shadows, we know of them. We've had the courage to be there and we have moved through and beyond. We understand the history. Archangel Uriel helping us into that space of higher consciousness that comes from higher learning. We know that everything really ultimately is peace, and that most often people do stuff because they are on autopilot, acting stuff out because somewhere along the line they were traumatized, somebody treated them badly. It doesn't make what happened okay. I'm really clear on that. It doesn't make it right, but you don't have to dwell in that space continually. It's time to move beyond. There are people around you who want to love and support you and help you with this. You do need to open yourself to receiving help and support from the right people. In moving through now, I'm going to bring in the selenite, wonderful energy, lunar energy of this powerful full moon that illuminates and helps us to cut cords to the past. Excuse me. Interestingly, I was drawn to the energy of amethyst as well, a master healer crystal. So the lunar energy of the full moon, the master healing energy of amethyst, we're going to put this in the past. The shadows are behind us. The courage you showed was amazing. Okay, we're going to place that selenite here, draw a line. Okay, absolutely wonderful energy. We have these beautiful crystal energies, the beautiful healing energy of amethyst that brings a flow through here. In fact, actually, this is really interesting. The shadows are supporting you. They're part of who you are now. And that is really lovely. I'm actually going to place the amethyst here. Woo, that feels so much better. The courage is a part of you. You are safe now. And we are going to bring in some more of these crystals. Very lovely here. Beautiful energy. The past and the stuff that you gathered is behind you. You've had the courage to deal with it. That is amazing. The energy of the moon is moving you forwards. There is a forward flow and a forward motion. We have a healing energy here that says we're going to cut the cords. We're going to end this kind of situation here. We're just going to create a boundary here. And the last of our amethyst crystals is going to sit in flow as you look forwards. There is a friend, someone willing to help you and support you. And as you move forwards, we move to the wonderful rune of nourishment, of possessions, of unexpected rewards, gains, surprises. Actually, yeah, you may actually find unexpectedly that an offer of help comes through to you from a friend, from someone that you wouldn't have expected. Somebody reaches out to you. Don't be afraid to accept that help. I do think that's, again, messages coming through. Someone is potentially going to reach out and offer you support. This is actually pushing you through to the finish line, in that whatever you're trying to manifest, this is clearing stuff so that actually you no longer get to that point where you're just about to reach the finish line and it never happens. This is clearing the energy so you do get to the finish line. Ambitions satisfied, unexpected rewards, gains, surprises. Share your success with humility and with humbleness, because actually celebrate it because you've worked to get here, but also share it with humility and humbleness because so many people will also experience similar difficulties and trauma, and actually they will need support and help to move through it and to know that the shadows are not to be feared. Very powerful reading, very, very powerful, extraordinary. wonderful friends, I really send you so much love, so much respect. And yeah, this is a time of pivotal change for humanity, when we get to shift these patterns and we do get to then create a flow of, it's kind of spiritually guided manifestation. So wonderful, wonderful energy. Time to let go, to heal, to move forwards, and yeah, not just to reach one finish line, but to reach many. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste.